Hey guys, welcome back. It's early July right now, and the goal is today is I'm going to try to teach you guys 3 or 4 different techniques, easy techniques, how to catch summer walleyes. Now the first one is, look at that right there. You see what that is? The good old-fashioned juicy night crawlers. Now, if you're okay with using live bait, 3 of the live baits I like to use in the summer are night crawlers, leeches, and minnows. If you can get chubs and minnows and stuff like that, they work great as well. But one of the easiest ways to catch walleyes and one of the most effective ways to catch walleyes, as all of you probably know if you're a walleye fisherman, is a jig. But I have been using this jig a lot different than probably most of you guys are fishing it, because I'm not fishing it on the bottom. I'm actually swimming this jig, and I want to show you exactly all my setups here. So I'm going to take 5 minutes and just show you all my setups. An 1/8 ounce jig head, right? This is like the VMC jig head. Get myself a whole crawler, and this is how I hook it. Take that tip, and I kind of just go right into the worm. I thread it on like a plastic worm, about 1 inch, okay? Push it up, and then what I do is I break it off, push it up, break it off right about here. All right, just like that. That half of a jig and a crawler, just like that. That is a fish catching bait. And let me tell you how I fish it. You know, a lot of guys you'll see, and you can fish a jig a lot of different ways, but with a crawler, you don't want to overly aggressively fish it. And when you break that crawler in half, that scent and that blood, those fish, when they trail it and follow it, they can smell it. So what I'll do is I'll throw this bait out. Let's say I'm fishing 30 feet of water. It might take 10 seconds to go down. I go down above the fish, and when I see the fish come up, I just do this. I reel slow. And maybe I just shake the tip a little bit like I'm ice fishing. Just reeling real slow, pulling the bait away from the walleyes. That's what I do. And you're just going to feel a little tick or feel the rod load up and hang on. And I've got that rigged up. That jig, this is my go-to all summer long. That's on 8-pound test fluorocarbon, 10-pound test braid. I've got that on a 7/6 Trika 6X. This is my favorite new rod, guys. They're here in Wisconsin, the Trika brand new, all carbon, super light. The link is in the description below if you want to check out some of these Trika rods. They're awesome. Also want you to check out the Piscifun Alumex reels. These are brand new by Piscifun, and I can save you 15% if you use my code EH15. Super smooth drag, 10 ball bearings, and they are priced really well. They work good in salt water, in fresh water. So the jig and the crawler is my starting go-to, but let me show you a couple other baits that really you just gotta have tied up. And this is a crawler harness. Now I make this up myself. It's very simple to make up. I've got 12-pound test fluorocarbon leader, a 3-foot leader. You can use 14, you can use as light as 10. But basically, here's what I do. I snell on 2 hooks. Okay, I got a hook here and a hook here. I put on 2, 3, 4 beads, an interchangeable clevis here. And that interchangeable clevis, I can put different color blades on. I can put a bigger blade on. I can put a smaller blade on, depending on if I'm fishing, let's say Green Bay, maybe a bigger blade. Tough bite, maybe a smaller blade. That's on 10 or 12 or 14-pound test with a 4-pound leader, a 3 or 4 foot leader. And then I've got that on a 2-way swivel and a tungsten bass weight. 3/8 ounce is probably my go-to that I use the most. And the way I hook that, same thing, I take a half of a crawler. I go right in the tip, right there, and I kind of pull it down. If this was a whole crawler, I'd stretch it out a little bit. And then you're gonna go right past this little section where they breed, right there. And with this, you're just throwing it out, boom, letting it fall above the fish. When you see the fish come to it, you just slowly reel. And the rod will load up and hang on. That jig and that crawler is probably my go-to number 1, number 2 punch that I catch the majority of my fish in the summer on them. Now, I will catch, especially now, starting July, I will start catching walleyes on a jig and spoon, on a shiver minnow, on a jig and wrap. But the problem is a lot of our lakes are really mucky weeds on the bottom. So a shiver minnow, jig and wrap, those sort of baits that hit the bottom, they weed up and they're hard to fish. So I'm trying to catch suspended fish. So when I'm fishing for suspended fish, one of the other baits that works really, really well for me is a plastic. Oh, I got a bug on me. is a little plastic. 16th ounce, 3/32, 1/8 ounce, 2-inch or 3-inch plastics. Finesse fishing them. Cast it above the fish and it's basically the same thing, reeling it in slow. Early and late with a jig and a plastic, you can go heavier, you can go a 3/8 ounce, you can snap jig them. Just depends on the mood of the fish and the lake you're fishing. But that little finesse rig right there on these crystal clear lakes, 6-pound test fluorocarbon, real light braid, 8 or 5-pound braid, a light rod, that is gonna catch fish for you. And last but not least, guys, probably the most underutilized walleye technique that I see guys not taking advantage of is a drop shot. Now, I may not fish a drop shot a lot today, but I've been fishing on Geneva and a few other lakes lately, and the drop shot's been catching me a lot of walleyes. And here's why. A lot of these lakes have a lot of bluegills. So when you throw a jig and a crawler or a spinner, and these walleyes are right underneath the bluegills or around the bluegills, and those bluegills go right over there and they will chew up that plastic or that worm so fast. That's why fishing a little flatworm like this, little tungsten weight, 6 or 8-pound test fluorocarbon. And I tell my customers when they're throwing out this drop shot rig and they throw it out into a school of fish, it's just a lot of this, a lot of shaking, reel a little bit, shake the rod tip. You're just going to feel it load up, and then you don't even have to set it that hard. So the drop shot, the paddle tail, the spinner, and the jig, a lot of guys are always saying, man, the front of your boat looks like a chaotic war zone. That's right, because I got 2 or 3 of these rods, 2 or 3 rods over here. If I can't get them to go on this, I grab that. If I can't, they won't eat this and they're following that, I'll try that. The process of elimination to catch yourself a lot of walleyes. Here we go. Trying to show you, there's my bait. It takes a while for it to go down. There's my bait right there. Now the fish are going to start swimming up. Here comes one swimming up. Close my bail. And the key is you got to just slowly pull it away. Here he comes, I'm pulling it away. Here he comes. Got him, just like that. Pull it away, guys. The biggest mistake I see with guys are fishing is a lot of guys fish these walleyes that are suspended. They try to fish them on the bottom. And you have to have that same approach as you do for ice fishing. Pull it away. Bring the bait up high, pull it away. Always have a couple of baits ready. I have a drop shot, a spinner, and a jig, and a jigging spoon. Have all those rods tied up, ready to rock. And then you just kind of go through the process of elimination. Do they want the jig? Do they want the spinner? Are they aggressive? Do they want a jig and wrap, a shiver minnow, you know, something like that? And here's one on the jig. Nice little 17, 18 incher. All right, first fish of the day. All right, buddy. Fish number 1, we'll do a little measurement. Where's our bump board here? Fish number 1, that right there is a 19 incher, guys. 19 inch, whoa, 19 inch eater. Half a crawler. That's just the rig I'm using right there. 1/8 ounce jig. Find the school of fish, locate them. There they are, 55 feet. Throw it up into the school. Same thing as last cast. I put my rod down. I know it sounds crazy. I'm just trying to show you guys where my bait is. Here's the school of fish. There's my bait right there falling. And there's the school of fish. As soon as I see something come up, we got one coming by it right now. Here they come, the whole school's coming by it. Here he comes. Got him. Just like that, number 2. That's a good one too. That's a good walleye. The whole thing is a setup too, guys. You know, 8-pound fluorocarbon, 10-pound braid. That's the deal. Half a crawler. And obviously, probably the most important thing is this tool right here, live scope. And he just came off. God, that was a nice one too. Darn it. Normally you don't miss them on the jig, but I just did. I just missed a couple. Of course, I turned my GoPro off. Feels like a better fish here. You know, the goal when I come out, I love to eat fish, so I try to catch a limit of walleyes when I can. Some days I throw them back, some days I keep them, but I love eating walleyes. We eat a bunch of them. Some of the farmers I hunt with, give a few of them to them. This is a nice fish here. This is a really nice fish here. This is a nice one. Staying down. It's a heavy fish. Can't horse them either. You just take your time with these big fish. Sorry for the wind, guys. I apologize. It's getting a little windy out here. We are just trying to teach you how to catch big walleyes. Southern Wisconsin. Oh, we got a phone call. Nice big walleye. Big walleye, you guys. Oh my God, look at this one. That's a nice walleye. That's a dandy. Oh yes. Yes, look at this walleye. Big golden walleyes in southern Wisconsin. Wow, what a beautiful fish. I'm gonna lift them up, show you guys real quick, and then let them go. Got him! Yes, finally on the jig. Man, they fouled the spinner. They fouled the spinner. We had a big thunderstorm that came through this morning. A lot of lightning. Seems like a lot of times for these crystal clear lakes, like the 10 to 4 bite is good. Middle of the day, it seems like. I don't know if that storm had an effect on them or not, but we are catching the walleyes. There's no one out here. That's what's great about some of these other lakes. You can go to Lake Geneva, it's great, but lots of people, lots of boat traffic, and as you can see out here, no one. I got the whole lake to myself. There's schools of walleyes out here. So if you guys want to learn how to fish some of these other lakes and you're in the area, I'll leave my number up there. Get a hold of me. We're doing guide trips for walleyes all summer. You want to bring home some meat like this? Nice little 19, 20 incher. Hey, hey, hey. That's how you do it, just like that. You come out here in an hour or two and literally catch your limit of walleyes on these southern Wisconsin lakes. Then pike fish, bass fish, whatever. Bluegill fish, but it's a nice fat 20.5 incher. And again, it's a tough bite this morning. I have a lot of fish that are following. But that jig and half of a crawler, not like that, but I'll show you how I thread it on, or the spinner, seems to be the deal if you want yourself some walleye dinner. Here he comes. Oh, he bit it. Hit it and dropped it. Got him. That's a nice walleye. Yes. You can see my fish on live scope right down there, and you can see there's a couple more right there with them. 2 or 3 or 4. There's another one following it in right now. Here he comes. Slowly pulling them up. They're off this deep point here. These are nice walleyes though. Been a fun bite out here today. Early July, just getting summer patterns figured out right after a big storm this morning. First hour was a little tough, but midday now, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, these fish are chewing. We have some really awesome walleye fishing around here. Love fishing some of these lakes too that just don't get the fishing pressure. Like the only boat out here fishing today, which is great. And there's beautiful big walleyes like this. Look at this walleye. Another nice 20 incher. I don't know, 20, 21 incher. Look at that fish. He's about ready to come off. Man, I'll put him in the net for a second. All right, I'll show you guys this fish. Look at another beautiful walleye. On the jig, guys. 21 incher on the jig and crawler. 2 best baits, jig and the spinner, I'm telling you. There he is. That's a good one. On the jig. Got a bunch of sailors coming around. We are catching, oop, about fell in. We are catching nice walleyes. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Real nice walleye. Nice 20 incher. On the jig, guys. On the jig. Just letting a lot of these go too. Might keep a few, letting a few go. It's a nice 20 incher. Nice fish. Just love the jig in that crawler. Nice walleye. Well, of course, I was not recording. Caught me a nice crappie. Jig in the plastic. See some fish out there. I thought, you know what? I'm going to throw a little 2-inch plastic, 16th ounce jig. Walleyes eat it, crappies eat it, everything eats it. Got 'em. What we got? Crappies? Yes, we do. We got crappies. Keep a couple crappies for dinner. Walleyes for dinner. We'll let you go. You're a little too small. Got him. Yes. On the drop shot, guys. On the drop shot. We got a nice bass. Oh yeah. Oh, big bass, big bass. Love it. Nice 3-pounder. Been catching a lot of walleyes on drop shots. It's a very, very effective way to catch walleyes and bass. So it's a really good thing to always have tied on if you run out of night crawlers. They will eat a drop shot. You can put a worm, a leech on a drop shot. I've caught a lot of walleyes that way. I like catching a mixed bag of fish. Small, we caught some smallies, a couple little pike, largies today. We got the wind picking up. We're about to wrap it up for the day. Nice, nice little bass. Take them. All right, it's a Nice fish on the drop shot. There he is. What do we got? On the drop shot. Got a walleye. Got a bass. Drop shot, jig. We got another walleye on the drop shot. Yep. Drop shot works, guys. It works really good for walleyes too. Make sure you take advantage of it. If you don't like using bait, grab yourself a drop shot, because walleyes will chew it good. Come here, buddy. Not a big one, but it's all right. All right, guys, so hopefully you enjoyed this week's video showing you a lot of different ways to catch fish, from the drop shot, the little jig and the paddle tail, the jig and the crawler, just swimming it, not fishing it on the bottom, and then slowly reeling in that spinner. So hopefully you enjoyed this week's video. Do me a favor, leave me a comment, and thanks for watching this week's video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you guys.